Oh my god, are we talking about this movie again? Is this thing broken already? It's the first episode, man. Come on. So today we're talking about Godzilla 98, or as you probably know it, the bad one. Now, is Godzilla 98 the worst movie ever made? Yes, it is emblematic of all the worst parts about capitalism. So, I know common opinion these days that other than being a terrible adaptation of the original, Godzilla 98 is not that bad. So okay, let's take Godzilla out. The movie's now called Iguana Guy Takes Manhattan. Now we fixed everything. Except the characters, who have no development and are about as interesting as a YouTube movie reviewer. At least the action's good. Oh my god, what? Why is the US military, who's so fucking important you have to sacrifice your healthcare for them, so bad at hitting a giant fucking target? Well, okay, the action sucks, and the characters suck, but at least the monster is portrayed as a innocent little murderer who's just trying to find a nest for its babies. Ooh woo. Oh, and he gets killed by regular anti-aircraft missiles. Guess thousands of people died because the military just forgot they had those. Now, if you read the interviews with the creative geniuses who made this movie, you'll see the phrase contemporary version of Godzilla repeated constantly. And all that ended up being was Godzilla swapping in for the tornado in Twister. And I was more scared of the tornado. I mean, you can't kill a tornado. And that really is kind of a shame because, well, Godzilla is doing well right now. He's basically a pro wrestler. Don't get me wrong, I love the Monster vs. Godzilla movies. But I don't think we ever really did get that contemporary version of Godzilla. I mean, this weak sauce, non-atomic breath-walking Taco Bell ad sure as hell wasn't. So, the $130 to $150 million question is Godzilla 98 unfixable? Now, before we get into the movie itself, there is something urgent we need to fix. Easy, good thing, please clap. So let's start up with what kind of movie we're trying to make here. And since this is the first Unfixable episode, I might as well clarify what's going on around here. This isn't the best Godzilla movie I could ever write. I sort of want to prove that while Godzilla 98 sucks, it's not far off being good. Oh, if you haven't watched the original, do it, because this video won't make any sense otherwise. Just prepare a large espresso. Maybe 2, maybe 70. You might fall asleep otherwise. So, since the movie we're trying to make is the same one but better, what were the goals of Godzilla 98? Well, to make a contemporary version of Godzilla. Duh. Why'd you think I brought that up? Now, what did all the other Godzilla Destroys the City movies have that Godzilla 98 didn't?
Wow! Incredible!
I can't believe I'm doing this, but here's 3 good reasons why making Godzilla attack the city in a Godzilla movie is a good thing. 1, it's the most faithful interpretation of the original. 2, we're scared for our characters' lives. And 3, it creates amazing action scenes. I know, it takes a genius such as I to think that making Godzilla a B-Tech King Kong was a bad idea. And the worst thing is, these are the same people who made Independence Day. It's like getting Michael Bay to make a Power Rangers movie and he just refuses to make anything explode. And from there, we're mostly home free. Like, if we take out the Baby Raptor shit, and trust me, I will, the story beats are fine. I know the movie's pacing is atrocious, but that's mostly because nothing happens for 2 hours. Think of it this way, Godzilla 98 is like a well-tailored jacket. You know, all the seams are seemingly invisible, it's tight, it'll survive a billion spins in the wash. Oh, and it's also made of garbage bags. But, if you replace the garbage with some polyester, it's a pretty decent jacket. So, we can begin with Dr. Nico Ankopoulos and Dr. Elsie out in the South Pacific, studying nuclear content in iguanas for the government. Neither of them has any idea why. So, Nick's got 2 traits. He's a nerd, and he wears glasses. And I gotta say, it's pretty impressive for a side character. He's a stereotypical nerd character. Okay, let's embrace that. Nick is nervous, shy, afraid to talk because he's either afraid of offending someone or because he's overwhelmed being in a crowd. And thus, Nick's character arc is about overcoming his fear of making important decisions. And it's going to be hard to do that when this walking Vietnam is still kicking around. So after that, we put the scene of Godzilla attacking the boat. Except I would add in Gojira guy. When the French Secret Service guy does his fun little lighter torture, we know what he's gone through. By the by, Godzilla probably destroys a boat here with his atomic breath. Just remember that he has it. Also, Philippe, he's perfect. Don't touch him. I just want to pivot him slightly into being an anti-hero, but personality-wise, he's exactly the same. And now it's Audrey's scene. Do we have to? Can't they just have Godzilla attack now? No, that wouldn't make much sense because we need to show the damage Godzilla's done to everyone's psyche. Alright. We've got a bit of a problem with Audrey. Mainly that it is entirely possible that her actress's bad acting blows the whole thing up. But hey, we're fantasy booking. Let's dream. Audrey is a cold-hearted, cynical person who sees everyone else as nothing more than pawns to help her further her career. But if your job was being hit on by Chief Wiggum, you too would do anything to make it stop. Anyway, she gets a call from Nick, who's on his fancy cell phone, telling her that he's going to be making an unplanned stop in New York. Audrey is evidently unenthusiastic. Her heterosexual gay best friend, Lucy, asks why she's so anxious about hearing from an old friend. Audrey explains that Nick used to be the token guy friend in her group, which made things all the more awkward when he confessed to her. But enough of my first girlfriend is a bitch. I doubt anyone's favorite part of Godzilla 54 was the love triangle. And now, here's the first Godzilla attack. He's tearing down entire blocks with his atomic breath and swatting skyscrapers down with his tail. It's expensive. But this is what the people want to see. People screaming in terror as their lives are determined by every inflection of Godzilla's attacks. But the rampage is very brief as Godzilla abruptly leaves. The audience may have been expecting more, but we want them to think about why Godzilla's attacking the city. After such a traumatizing event, Audrey feels like some nostalgia may be the remedy. She invites Nick over to her apartment. Audrey heavily brags about her job. Nick does a bit too. Suddenly, in Audrey's apartment, we see the type of person Nick Olympiakos is when he's comfortable. He's joking about Audrey not having a boyfriend. He's jovial, although it's clear he's still kind of hung up. We know it's not Godzilla, because both are confident he'll be taken out soon. By the way, Audrey doesn't react all that well to Nick's joke about her being single, giving a Dragon Ball Z death stare and nagging him not to try anything funny. Nick admits that while he's not over being rejected by Audrey, he's content watching her be happy doing what she loves. Audrey quietly nods. Now, we're right at the moment where Mayor Ebert shows up, which, you know, there's nothing more mature than creating an XP of the person you don't like and not killing him? What? No, okay. Mayor Ebert, he's a lost cause, as well as the overall US military, are incredibly confident in their ability to destroy Godzilla, to the point they're extremely confused when they throw everything at him and it doesn't work. They recently set a fish-based trap for the big guy, and he just went through anti-aircraft missiles like they were nothing. So what can stop Godzilla? Well, we're gonna add a new character to the movie. Meet Momoko, a 40-year-old chemist who presents a project the upper brass is working on. It's called the Oxygen Destroyer, a weapon that can break down items to the molecular level. Nick wants to raise his hand and ask for the danger of such a weapon, but his anxiety, plus the general excitement of the room, coerces him to be silent. At the end of the meeting, Momoko pulls Nick aside and hands him a Betamax tape, telling him to watch it but to never show it to anybody else. Nick visibly quakes. The next day, he takes a cab down to New Jersey where the US is stationing their troops, where the taxi makes a weird turn to the docks and the doors and windows start to lock. The driver pulls over and in a strong Parisian accent says, "You know, what kind of a taxi operates during a giant monster attack?" Like, I can't fucking do it. Philippe brings Nick onto the boat, and we get our origin story. Godzilla is the product of a nuclear bomb, more specifically Fat Man, the bomb dropped over Hiroshima, which over years of bioaccumulation and radiation poisoning transformed a regular iguana into Godzilla. Which leads Nick to ask an obvious question. Since there were 2 bombs detonated over Japan, shouldn't there be 2 Godzillas? And that's when Philippe gets rather solemn. For all we know, judging by how many, I can't do it. Judging by how many nuclear bomb tests have taken place over the years, who knows how many Godzillas there could be. So, we've still found a way to get multiple Godzillas in the movie, but instead of trying to get some nonsensical pregnancy angle out of it, we just doubled down the original origin. This may seem like confirmation bias for Nick, but of the limited time he spent helping the government, he's noticed how flippant they've been. Notably to him, there's been little to no focus on the humanitarian aspect of Godzilla's attack. You have an opportunity to defer the big decision to somebody else. Nick shakes Philippe's hand. Now, Dr. Elsie has had enough. What she sees here is a classic King Kong situation. A bunch of humans abusing an animal. Animals only act in self-preservation. If they could reach out to Godzilla, maybe give a compromise of some sort, they could probably find some way to stop him. So, remember how in the original movie, Nick took pictures of Zilla for some weird reason? We'll do that again, except we'll have Elsie hold the camera. She's trying to reach out to Godzilla, all soft-spoken, and military general guy's like, "Oh, I'm no expert in iguanas, this seems really fucking stupid." Nick doesn't think so. I mean, Elsie's an expert. She knows what she's doing. Godzilla proceeds to vaporize Dr. Elsie. No, Godzilla's the bad guy. Nick's on a phone call with Philippe about the Oxygen Destroyer's location when Audrey steals the tapes. We're sort of implying that Philippe's goal was to steal the Oxygen Destroyer, use it to kill Godzilla, while also learning the recipe for it to make France become a global superpower again. Audrey arrives back home and plays the tapes on her super big CRT. So what's on the tape? It's footage of Momoko and a couple biologists playing around with a baby Godzilla. The name Godzilla is given to him in reference to a mythical Japanese monster that was half whale and gorilla. And then at one point, Momoko peers into the camera and eerily starts speaking. "This is the Oxygen Destroyer. It's like an atomic bomb and a handgun. It's the only way we can stop an adult version of Junior from destroying the Earth." Momoko laughs awkwardly before her expression becomes more somber. You know that old Nietzsche quote? It's something like, "Whoever fights monsters should be careful that they don't become a monster themselves." Well, let's just say that I feel like a giant monster right now. God, anime girls take the edge off of everything.
Alright, fish your hand over your lunch money.
Penelope?
It's Nell.
Okay, Nell. Do you watch Fox Kids?
Yes. No.
You don't watch Spider-Man, Power Rangers, or Woody Woodpecker?
No.
At the very least, you should watch Godzilla.
Why?
No reason.
Fox Kids, Saturday mornings, weekday afternoons on Fox 5.